Right, welcome back to another glorious day in the court, and today we're doing the APC extraction mission. Now this one's going to require a bit of explaining because we actually have an APC tile here that we've not actually used up to this point, and it has special things about how it operates. So we'll just have a quick run through of the APC specifically, and then we'll get into the actual mission brief. So first off then, the APC can only be entered or exited by the door gunner space. All of the edges of the NPC are basically walls which cannot be moved, attacked or interacted through. If a character entered or exited the APC during the marine phase, the door is counted as open during the alien phase. Otherwise, it's counted as closed. Xenomorphs can attempt to open the APC door for the rest of the alien phase in the same way that they would remove a barricade. So basically roll the alien dice on a 4 up, the door opens. If it moves, all models and token in the APC move with it. So there's a couple of specific seats that people can be in as part of the APC. So you've got the driver at the front, currently where Ripley's sat. A character in the driver's space may take an interact action and perform a tech test. If they pass, the APC can move up to 5 spaces. Otherwise, so if they fail, it can only move 3 spaces. The speed of the APC is reduced by 1 for each damage token it has. Can move forward and backwards and diagonally, but just not straight sideways. Moves 1 space at a time. It does not have to stop its movement when it enters a space adjacent to an alien model other than a queen. If it moves into a space containing an alien model, it immediately makes an attack, the alien, against the APC and then is killed. If it was a swarm, all aliens in the swarm are killed. So we can ram xenomorphs out the way. They just get a free attack if we do so. If the APC model ends with its movement with a character under it, the character just needs to move to make room of the APC. If it moves to the barricaded door, remove the barricade. So there are also turret gunners, one in the front where Gorman is sat and one in the back where Newt is sat. A character in the front or rear turret gunner may take an attack action with their turret. Exhaust 3 cards and roll 2 marine die, discarding the highest. So a roll of 7 or less on either will kill an alien model and any tokens under it. Basically acts as a sentry gun. The target number to kill an alien model, however, is reduced by 1 for each damage token it has. So the more damage the APC token has, it basically means it's harder to kill aliens with the turrets, which makes sense. Turret weapons can only target spaces outside the APC. The front gunner, where Gorman is, draws line of sight all around it and forward, so it can't see past the spaces where Gorman is. It can only see forwards and in all directions. The rear turret, however, sees everything. There's also a door gunner space where Vasquez currently is. A character in the door gunner space may take an attack action with their weapon against aliens outside the APC. If they do this, however, the door is counted as open during the alien phase. So a bit of a risk-reward sort of thing there. Characters in other spaces can only take attack actions against aliens inside the APC. So that's the only place we can see in and out. So that's why I've posted Vasquez with a smart gun there. There is a scanner place just behind Gorman, and if you do that, you take an interact action, perform a tech test, and then you may look down at a blip token. It basically acts as a computer. The rest of the spaces are repair ones. Characters in repair spaces may take an interact action, perform a tech test to repair the APC. If they pass, remove 1 damage token from it, but if you roll a star, remove 2 damage tokens instead. When the alien attacks, it attacks it as if it was a character. It has a defense value of 5 and a melee of 2. If the APC fails a defense roll, instead of being killed or knocked down, it gains a damage token. So there's nothing to say that the APC can be destroyed. Basically what the damage tokens do is they slow it down, they make it harder for the turrets to see anything, and it'll essentially allow other xenomorphs to come in, swarm the APC and try and bog us down. So we need to keep them off us, keep it repaired, and that'll help us exit the board faster. Okay, so as for the actual escape mission itself then, the mission goal is that all survivors aboard the APC must outrun the aliens and escape the processing plant. We can extract on foot or in the APC, so if it's too damaged we don't need to take it with us, we could just leg it on foot. In this mission we must cross 6 game boards in order to escape. Currently there's only 2 game boards that's included as part of the pack, but this is where the turn dial comes in. The turn dial is basically keeping track of which board we're on. So as the APC moves completely into another board, the turn dial will go up. So currently 1, if it gets there it'll move to 2, then 3, and etc. And once we've got to the board number 6, the exit token will appear and we can exit the board. We shuffle 5 random threat level 1 and 5 threat level 2 cards together at the top of the motion tracker deck, and we start drawing cards from turn 1. So, the APC can't be destroyed, but it can be crippled to the point of uselessness. So we want to try and outrun the Xenomorphs. Once we've completely cleared a board, it's worth mentioning, that board goes in front, but anything on it apart from the spawn tokens is removed entirely. So if we manage to get the APC onto this board completely, and we need to move the next one along, anything behind us is completely wiped clean. So if there's a giant horde of Xenomorphs behind us, they get taken off the board. So it's more valuable to outrun than outshoot them, I think, in this mission. So, not done this one before, seems intriguing. I'm very eager to get into it. So, let's do the APC chase mission. Okay, so before the mission begins, I've assigned everyone to their seats. I've put Frost in the driver as opposed to Ripley, because even though he has one less tech value, it means that when I activate Ripley, the APC doesn't have to move first, so we may be able to shoot some aliens off us before we move and give them a free attack, basically. Gorman is on the front gunner, because it doesn't matter what your aim value is in terms of whether you can actually hit anything. Same for Newt and the rear gunner. We've got Vasquez on the door gunner with her smart gun that she can open up at any point. So we'll try and keep the door closed where all possible, because it basically stops the Xenomorphs from getting in. But we'll see how we go with that. We've got Hicks and Ripley on repairs. So let's see if we can make it off the board then into Marines for the first turn. Okay then, so start the Marine phase. Turn 1, Ripley activates. Can't recycle any cards, but we do get to draw one. It's a spare pistol. So Ripley's currently on the repair space, so nothing really for her to do at this point, to be honest. So we'll just leave her be for now. Let's try and get some of these Xenomorphs off us first. So, because the rear gunner can see everything, all those blips are currently in line of sight, so let's flip them and see how many Xenomorphs we're surrounded by. 5 at the front, not too bad. Ooh. Yeah, quite a fair bit more at the back though. A good 11 Xenomorphs trying to get in through the door, so let's add these models to the board and then get going. Okay then, so quite a few Xenomorphs trying to get through the side door, but not as many in front of us. So kind of hoping that we can clear the front ones and get some distance away from those Xenomorphs. So let's activate Gorman on the front gun first. So let's try and thin out these Xenomorphs here. So to activate the front gun, it costs 3 cards to do so. And then you make a test with 2 dice and a roll 7 or less will kill. So exhausting 3 cards to do so. So 1, 2, 3. So front gun is going to attack into this stack of aliens here. There's currently 3 there. So 7 or less on either. Yep, that wipes the stack. Okay, so spend 3 cards to attack again with the front gun into that Xenomorph there. 7 or less. Oh, misses, not good. Okay, that was quite expensive as it is. So let's not do that again, and that's both of his activations done with that anyway. But I think we can just ram the 1 and then try and get around the other ones, maybe kill it with the door gun, but let's see. So let's activate Frost, who's currently in the driver's seat, takes a text test. 5 or less, we get to go further. 10, nope, we get to move 3 spaces. So we'll go, we'll ram the first Xenomorph in front of us. So that does make an attack. The APC's defense value is 5. Star, which actually kills it flat and it doesn't actually land an attack on us because it has a melee value of 2. Then we get to move the APC 3 squares. So trying to get some distance from those on the side. And we shall take another tech test with Frost. 5 or less, see if we move it again. Star, brilliant. So we get to move 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3. And in order to get through that gap, we kind of have to come back in. So we'll attack that Xenomorph again. It attacks us. 5 is the defense value. 4. So it fails its attack and is immediately crushed under the APC as it moves 2 more spaces. 1, 2. Okay, so crushed 2 Xenomorphs out of the way as the APC is making its escape, and we've left a couple of those behind us. They will probably still be able to pursue and maybe land an attack though, so let's get Newt to activate and try and blitz some of those with the rear gun. Spending 3 cards to do so for her first action. No damage on the APC, so hitting this lead group on 7s or less. That's a 7 and a 3. This lead group is annihilated. And let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, can still make an attack. So let's spend another 3. 1, 2, 3, and attempt to attack again on the next one. 7 or less on either. That's a 6, so the next stack is gone. Okay, and that's both of Newt's actions, so very successful on the rear gun. I don't think anyone else can see to shoot that last one, so we'll get the rest of the Marines to rest and try and get these cards back in the draw deck. Okay, so all the rest of those cards have been recycled into the deck, so let's go into the alien phase. Activating aliens. This one moves 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and can attack the APC from there. There is 1, 2, 3, 4 in that stack, so adding 4 to the result, and the APC's defense value is 5. 6, so more than enough to overcome the defense. So the APC gets a damage token. So moves 1 less if we successfully do the tech test, and all the turrets are hitting on 6s now. So going into blips, currently none on the board. We are, however, drawing motion trackers on the first turn. So the first one, recycle a card, don't need to. Second one, recycle a card, don't need to. Okay then, so into the Marine phase then. So first off, Ripley activates. Let's recycle that pistol back in and we'll draw another one. Stand up any knockdown character. Yeah. And for Ripley's first action, she is on a repair space, so let's do a tech test to see if we can actually repair some of this damage, needing a 6 or less to pass. That's a 5, pass, and that damage point is removed. And nothing for Ripley to do, so she'll rest again, but no cards to recycle back in. So we'll get Frost to activate. Does his tech test. Getting 5 or less is what we're looking for. Nope. So the APC just moves 3. 1, 2, 3. We have completely left that board, however, though. So everything on it is left behind. And the boards trade places. As we are now on space number 2 entirely. And then we've got another board that has appeared in front of us. And we'll get Frost to activate again, see if we can get us out of here, needing a 5 or less. Nope, so we just moved 3. Okay, no other Xenomorphs in sight. I'm just thinking about it. Let's actually get... no, Newt's tech score is really bad though, so she wouldn't be good at repairing. But she would be good at resting to get more cards in, and those turrets are expensive. Okay, so we'll get Newt to move over to there so that Hicks can man the rear gun instead, so that when it comes around to Newt, hopefully she can rest and recycle more cards back in. It's not going to be effective as repairing, but these turrets are expensive, and we're going to need someone to mitigate that cost. As for everybody else, no other Xenomorphs on the board, nothing really to do, they'll just rest. All the cards are already in. So onto the alien phase. There are currently no Xenomorphs on the board, no blips either, so straight to motion trackers, drawing 2. Blip on 3, if it's not in line of sight it immediately moves 4 spaces. From 3 nobody can see it, so it moves 1, 2, 3, 4 and flips. It's 3 Xenomorphs. And the other one, blip on 4, if it's not within line of sight it moves 4 spaces. 4 is in line of sight, so it stays where it is, but we flip it. It's 5 Xenomorphs. Okay then, so a few more Xenomorphs are merging out the walls to try and intercept. We're probably not going to blow straight past them. So as we go into the Moon phase, we're probably going to have to shoot some of these guys out. So into the Marine phase then. Line of sight is drawn from the gunner position. So front gun can only shoot in front of him anyway, but the rear gun can only really see from the seat, and that seat can't currently see spawn point 4. So the only option we'd have of actually doing anything with that is if Vasquez opened the door and started shooting. The problem with that would then be that they have an access point to the APC that's unbarricaded. So let's not do that for now, but first we need to activate Ripley anyway. No cards to recycle, so we just draw one. Arc Welder. Discard this card to barricade a door within 1 space of the character. Yeah, do you know what? We'll spend a card and just equip it to Newt so that she actually has something on her character. So that's gone over to Newt. And for Ripley's 2 actions then, she's currently on a repair space. No damage to repair, rest. Let's get that card back in. So we'll activate Frost to drive the APC off again then. So tech test, needing 5 or less. Gets a 4, it moves 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we are completely off that board, so these xenomorphs go away. So now on space 3, we've only just crossed into that board, and Frost can go again to do another tech test, 5 or less. Nope, so we only move an additional 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Okay, no xenomorphs on the board, no damage to repair, so everyone will just rest, no cards to recycle in, but that's the end of the marine phase. Going into the alien phase, activate aliens, no current xenomorphs, activate blips, ditto, draw motion tracker cards. First one, blip on 2, if it's not in line of sight it moves 4 spaces. 2 is there, a blip appears, we can see it, it's 2 xenomorphs. Next one, place a tunnel token in a square that's in line of sight and next to the character. So obviously not in the APC, I don't think, but probably worth double checking. Okay, so I'm not actually seeing anything in the rulebook or FAQ that suggests what to do when a tunnel token's supposed to be placed with the APC. So in the spirit of it, we are going to place the tunnel token there, and we'll treat it as something that can be repaired. So basically the xenomorphs are crawling all over it, they've burned through a bit in the ceiling, so we'll do one of the repair actions, and if it's successful, we'll get rid of that tunnel token. So I think that's how we'll play it. So reveal a card. It's blue, place 2 blips on every tunnel token. So, hole's been burned through the roof of the APC, and 2 blips are now inside with us. So, how many are there? 1 and 4. So, let's get those models on the board. Okay then, so 2 xenomorphs have spawned outside the APC, but more worryingly, some have clambered over and burned through the roof. So, let's go into the marine phase and see if we can clear this up. So, start the marine phase. Ripley activates, no cards to recycle back in, so we just draw one instead. So, with Ripley then, let's try and shoot out these xenomorphs that are inside the APC, starting with the one on its own next to it. So, spending a card to do so, hits on a 7 or less. That's a kill, that xenomorph goes away. Spend another card for the stack next to her, this time hitting on a 6 or less. Misses. That's her first action, so for her second one, let's not attack it, let's hope the other people can deal with that and try and repair that hole in the roof. So, tech score, needing 6 or less to pass. Does not, that tunnel token is still there. Okay, let's get Vasquez then to fire into those xenomorphs with her smart gun, spending 2 cards to do so. Hitting on 6s or less. Hits once, kills a xenomorph. And we'll spend a card, go again, hitting 5s or less. Yep, kills another. One more card, 4s or less. No, misses. And that was her first action, so let's spend another 2 to shoot again for the second action, this time hitting on 3s or less. 2, that's a shot. 1 xenomorph left. Spend another card, last one, 2s or less. No, misses. Okay, so that's Ripley and Vasquez done. Newt really can't attack from there. Gorman's the only one who can see those xenomorphs on 2, so let's get Hicks to try and polish off that xenomorph on its own. So, spending a card to attack with his pulse rifle, hits on 6 or less. That's a star, kills it. Got stuff. And for his second action, we'll just rest and recycle some of these cards back in. Okay, then we'll get Gorman to activate and try and obliterate those with the front turret. So, exhausting 3 cards to do so. 2 dice, 7 or less on either. Yep, completely annihilates them. And for his next action, we'll rest and get those 3 cards back in. Okay then, next we'll get Newt to activate, and she will rest once to get 4 cards back in, and she'll use her second action to attempt to repair that hole in the roof. She has a tech score of 3. Succeeds! So that tunnel marker goes away. Okay, next we've got Frost to activate with his tech score, needing 5 or less. Star, the APC moves 5 spaces. So not quite off that board yet, but we'll activate him again to move again, needing 5 or less. 10. So we move 3 spaces. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we've completely left that tile behind, so it trades places. Okay, into the alien phase. No active xenomorphs, no active blips, straight to motion tracker. First one. Single blip on 3. Right down there. And we also reveal a card. If it's blue, place another at spawn 4. If it's red, place another at spawn 3. It's neither, it's yellow. So no additional blips for that. Next one. Blip at 4. Either discard a barricade or put a second... Okay, so there are no barricades, so we place 1 at 4 and 1 at 1. So 1 blip at 4, 1 blip at 1. So currently from there, the rear turret can see the back blip, the front one can see the front one, but nobody can see that one just yet. So just these 2 blips flip. It's 2 xenomorphs and 1 xenomorph. Okay, so some xenomorphs spawning in, but there is one quite ahead of us that may try and make an attack later. So let's see how we do in the marine phase then. Starting off, Ripley activates, recycle 2 cards back in and draw 1. Spare helmet. Newt is nearby, costs 2 to do so, so I'll spend 2 cards to equip Newt with that helmet. For Ripley's actions then, not really much for her to do, so she'll just rest twice to recycle these cards back in. So we'll get Gorman to spend 3 cards to shoot into those 2 aliens there. 3 cards spent, needing 7 or less on either. That's a 7. These get obliterated by the front turret. Gorman can't see any others, however, so probably should have got him to move first. Well, we'll get him to rest to recycle those back in. Then we'll get Hicks to activate the rear turret to blast away that single xenomorph on its own. Spending 3 cards to do so. 7 or less on either. That's a star. Destroys it. And rest again to get those back in. Okay, then we'll get Frost to activate to try and move the APC along, needing 5 or less. 2, the APC moves 5 spaces. So we can see that blip from the front gun now. It's a single xenomorph. And we'll get Frost to activate again, see if we can get this moving anymore. No, it only moves 3. So 1, 2, 3. Which, if we open that door, Vasquez could actually see that. So let's do that. We'll get Vasquez to shoot into that xenomorph on its own, spending 2 cards to do so. The door is now counted as open for this next xenomorph turn, hitting on 6s with either dice. Yep, destroys it. And then she'll rest to put those cards back in. Okay then, so no more damage to repair, no more cards to recycle, so everyone will just rest. And we move into the alien phase then. We've not cleared that board just yet, however. So, no active aliens, no active blips, motion trackers. First one, blip on 1. If it's not within line of sight, it moves 4 spaces. It is within line of sight, so it goes nowhere, but we flip it. It's 4 xenomorphs. And the next one, 2 blips on 4. After you place blips, move each blip in play 3 spaces. So, 1, 2. So when we place that one, it was revealed, so that doesn't count for the 3, but these do. 1, 2, 3, reveal. 1, 2, reveal. So since that xenomorph ended its reveal within there, it does actually make an attack. So let's get these models on the board first. Okay, so the xenomorphs have appeared. That one ended its move within contact with the APC, so it does make an attack. Defense value is 5 or less. That's a 6. The APC suffers a point of damage. So a point of damage on the back of the APC. So turrets are 1 less to hit, it moves 1 less until that's repaired. Okay, so into the next one then, marine phase. So Ripley activates, nothing to recycle, but we do draw 1. Okay, so Ripley to activate, she is on a repair space, so we'll get her to do a tech test with 6 or less to repair that hole. Fails the first one, we'll use a second action to attempt again, 6 or less. No, hole's still there. Let's get Newt to have a go, 3 or less. Nope, and again. Yes, Newt repairs the hole. Where goes the damage on the APC? Actually, no, let's just outrun them. Yeah, because if we move off that space, they disappear anyway. So we'll get Frost to activate. Tech test is 5 or less. 5, so it moves 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this board swaps positions. So we're currently on board number 5. And then we'll get him to activate again. Yes, another 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And since the board we're moving on to is space 6, the exit token has appeared. So once the APC has completely cleared it, we are successful in the mission. Okay, rear gun can't see that, so everyone else rests, puts those back in, no damage to repair. On to the alien phase. Activate aliens. Those guys move 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Activate blips. No blips to activate. Draw motion trackers. First one, blip on 3. Single blip there. Next one. Blip on 2. Small point there. We can see both of those from where we currently are. So that is 2 xenomorphs and another 2 xenomorphs. So another 4 xenomorphs have appeared alongside the APC. So moving into the marine phase then. First off, Rick deactivates. No cards to recycle, but we draw one. Another event. Another action with the character, so we could potentially get off here and now. So let's get Frost to activate. Tech test, 5 or less. Yep, moves 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So almost there. We'll say we have to clear it completely, but that board has now gone. So just put this board in front for the sake of getting the APC completely on it, but it doesn't have the respawn points. And then we'll get him to go again. Nope, so only go 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we're almost off the board. APC only needs to move a little bit further. Just put the extra spawn points back on, because I'm just thinking that they may stop the APC from completely clearing the finish line. Bearing in mind, that's the line the APC needs to cross completely in order for us to successfully extract. No one else can see xenomorphs from that position, so just rest, repair, great, nothing really to do from there. On to the alien phase. So these guys move 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just out of range to take a swipe. No blips, so motion trackers. 2 blips on 1, either exhaust 4 cards or place another at 4. I mean, you can have another at 4 if you want. So 1, 2 at 1, and 1 at 4. We can all see those, so let's just draw the other one first. Place 2 blips on each tunnel and spawn point. So, okay, so let's flip these blips that we can currently see from there. So 1, 5, 3, 1, 2, 2, and 1. So couldn't get some minis on the board, but there's not really going to be that much point, I feel, because even if we fail it, we'll still be moving 3. So we'll just leave them there for now. So into the marine phase, because they don't move when they actually appeared on there. So Rip activates, nothing to recycle, draw a card. Yep, another event, don't mind about that. Rippy will rest twice. Frost will activate, 5 or less. Yep, moves 5. 1, 2, 3, and we've completely passed the finish line, so we have successfully extracted the APC. Okay, very interesting little mission that. Obviously that went really quite smoothly. If you guys could let me know if that tunnel should have stayed or not, because that could have been a deciding thing there. As I say, there was nothing in the rulebook, nothing in the FAQ talking about when a tunnel spawns in an APC. I just played by how I thought was what was thematic with what's cracking off here. But I can definitely see how, with a lot more active players and drawing a lot more motion tracker cards, that could be a much more difficult mission to try and get through, because you'd have them constantly spawning in front of you. We got quite lucky in that none spawned in front of the APC and then blocked it off and took damage as we ran them over. So we did have quite a clean sailing one with that, but we already lost 1 Marine to this campaign, so I am fine with clean sailing. So that was the APC chase mission. Thanks for joining us in this another glorious day in the Corps, and we'll see you in the next one.